Welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures that Outperform. I'm Frank Wander. I'm here with my co-host Terry Mays, and we welcome you to the People Productive channel, where you are the product and a better you is a solution. We've entered the human era of work, and in that human era, as you build new skills, you become more influential, you have more influence. So you come here to learn the human side of business to grow and perform better. Terry, maybe a quick intro?
Yes. Hello, Terry Mays, a certified culture engineer. I help companies bring out the best in their people.
And I'm the CEO and founder of People Productive, a company that helps organizations use the time, talent, and energy of their people most effectively so that they can create a culture that outperforms. So today we're actually going to be continuing the belonging series. I don't know if you've had a chance to tune in, but we've gone through a whole set of things that create a deep sense of belonging in this human era of work. Belonging matters. This is how you hang on to people, but not only hang on to them, this is how you make them incredibly productive. This is how you create an environment that literally outperforms, because then people are motivated and able to give their best. So we started off this series looking at what belonging is. It's actually a feeling, it's not an emotion. We showed you how it starts to take root, how the roots actually grow deeper. And today we're going to go into the next phase, which is that the roots actually get stronger. And, when you think about it, you have an individual, they've come into an organization, they feel that sense of welcoming. Then, all these different belonging behaviors like inclusion, acceptance, and other things start to take hold. So they're becoming part of the fabric. They're actually growing roots into the organization. And the next thing that happens is if they're really supported and, they're cultivated in the organization, we're going to see achievement starting to take hold. They're going to achieve things. They're going to do things. If you celebrate that, and they start to earn the respect of others, they start to gain influence. This is what literally starts to take belonging to a whole nother level, and very powerful. And you want to really cultivate achievement amongst all the people. You want to celebrate achievement. You want to ask people their opinions so they have influence. You want to make sure people understand what they're contributing so they're a respected member of the organization. These things happen. And, Tara always has great insights into these. So I'm going to pass the baton.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Glad to have you back with me this week.
Yes. Hey, thanks for soloing last week. You really bailed me out. That was great.
Yes.
Nice.
So, continuing this discussion on belonging, it's so important, especially now in this day and age that we live in. People all throughout organizations, as well as we're seeing different organizations in from a social perspective. We're seeing organizations say, hey, we belong here. We are Americans too. There's a whole lot of things happening in our world, in our workplaces. But the bottom line is everybody needs to feel like they belong, like they are connected to something, that there's meaning to the work that they're doing, that their life matters, that they matter, that somebody cares about what they're doing. And in the workplace, you want your leaders to really care about the work that you're doing. And you want them to give you meaningful work, not just busy work, not just a bunch of stuff to check the box, but you want to participate and do your part by doing meaningful work. And then you want to be appreciated and recognized for doing it. Nobody wants to go out and give their best and then have nobody pay attention to it, especially in the workplace. You want people to pat you on the back and say, good job. Not everybody needs public recognition, but everybody needs recognition. They need some sense of achievement that they've done something, it's been recognized as something that was done well.
Yeah. And, you don't want to wait for them to do something big. People do lots of things that are adding value to the organization. So
Right.
you want to be tuned into what your folks are doing, and you want to take those moments where they've actually overcome some challenge and celebrate that, because it is in overcoming those challenges that people find additional meaning in the work they're doing. Humans respond to challenge. It's how we grow as individuals. It's how we succeed. It's how we protect ourselves, right? Challenge makes us better. It makes us stronger. And humans, crave challenge. And when they overcome them, they not only feel that rush, like, wow, I got that done. But if it's celebrated and recognized by the people around them, now they're finding meaning and they're getting a sense of achievement. And that sense of achievement is going to drive them forward to create bigger and better achievements. And you want to fully empower the folks. Let them really run with the ball. And this is a deeper level of belonging, right? Because wow, you've now achieved stuff. We're really going to empower you to contribute as much as you possibly can. So that level of trust makes a real big difference. And it starts to give people some freedom, and that sense of freedom further strengthens the roots. And this is what you want to have happen, right? You want those roots to go deeper, dig deeper into the soil of the company. And there are lots of things you could do in terms of achievement needs. People do want to have an impact. They want to know what they're doing has an impact. And as a leader, you should be able to frame that out for them. You should know the bigger picture, and you should understand where those sources of meaning come from and talk to them about it. Let them see what you see. Make sure they're building self-esteem as they go on, which comes with higher levels of achievement. And as they get more self-esteem and they get more respect from those around them, you're going to see these roots really just grow deeper into the soil. It's a big deal.
Yes, absolutely. You want to give people that trust. You want to let them know that you have empowered them to make decisions and you trust them to do the right thing. You trust that they're going to do what's in the best interest of the company and for themselves. And so you really do want to kind of take your hands off. You don't want to be that micromanager that's constantly overlooking every little detail. Everything has to be run by you, everything has to be expressed in the way that you would express it or done in the way that you would do it. No, take your hands off and let people be free to do the work as the way that they would do it. And as long as it's done well, everyone understands it's great work. Don't force people into the box of being another you as a leader. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to make sure that people have that liberty and that freedom to be themselves so that they can be authentic in the workplace and do the work the way that they would do it. And then celebrate that. We talked about that, but make sure that you're recognizing the little things and the big things. But there are lots of little things that happen all the time that people can be celebrated for. Being inclusive and making sure that you're including everybody in the feedback sessions if you're looking for feedback or if you're giving out assignments. Don't just take a small group of people and give all the great assignments and then all the rest of the people get the leftovers. No, bring everybody together and make sure that people feel like they all have a voice. They all have a part to play in what's happening.
Yeah, and the little things that Terry mentioned, celebrating those is very important. And that means awareness and importance. You have to be aware that this stuff matters. Humans use selective filtering. 98.4% of everything going on around them is actually missed. Their consciousness has a very limited bandwidth, and it's focused on things that really are important and you have made consciously important. So you got to be on the lookout for this stuff. That means you have to literally know this matters, and you have to take time to look for this. You're going to miss it if you don't. You'll catch the big things. You'll be one of those organizations that has some big celebrations when big things gets done, but you're going to miss all these little opportunities to really have these roots grow deeper into the soil, because little things matter. There are so many more little things happening than big things, and they cumulatively add up to a big success. So being on top of that, is super important as a leader or as a coworker, because this isn't only about leadership. Belonging is how they feel about everybody around them, and whether they've been included and accepted by everyone. They've earned that respect. They've been given a chance to make an impact. They've been empowered. These are all different things that flame the human emotion.
That's right. Remember, the whole point of belonging is not just so that people feel good. That's one of the byproducts of belonging is you feel better and you have an overall better health. We did this whole series on wellness, but belonging absolutely contributes to the well-being of your employees. But the whole point of this is not just for the feel good part. The point of it is the cost of turnover is very high. So you
Right.
want to make sure that if you've got some great candidates that you've hired, you've brought them in, they're doing great work, you don't want to lose them to another organization. You want to do whatever you can to keep them engaged in your company, because it's going to cost a lot to replace that person. And especially in this time that we're in now, where people are changing jobs, they're changing careers, they're deciding that they no longer want to go into the office, they'd rather work remotely. So they're finding work from home jobs. All kinds of things are happening right now. You want to do your best to keep the good employees that you already have, because that turnover cost is extremely high.
Oh God, it's very high. We study that. We look at all the hidden and direct costs of turnover. We have
Mhm.
presentations on that. There's so many hidden costs of turnover, the time to competency, the impact on all the people they work with when somebody's got to come in and get up to speed, the amount of time the boss devotes to, nurturing someone who's coming into the company, errors and defects, the vacancy costs. You can go down this list. It's really very big. And oftentimes the real cost of turnover is more than the salary of that individual. You get these very complicated jobs with a long time to competency. Wow, you're talking a very expensive cost of turnover. So you've got to invest time and energy to avoid those expenses. And, by investing the time and energy into making people feel that sense of achievement, the sense that they're part of the fabric of the place, the fact that people around them are behaving in a responsible way. There's a lot of candor so people understand the big picture and what's going on, transparency. All of this adds up to that feeling that, wow, this is it. This is the place for me. And so everything we're talking about strengthens that feeling, because
Yes.
belonging is a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's like, wow, I belong here. And you want everybody to be there. And, we've done shows on, retention, turning the great resignation into the great retention. You want to do those stay interviews. You don't want to do exit interviews. You want to find out if you're really, meeting the full needs of this individual. So hard to miss the fact that Terry seems to have disappeared. Um, but anyway, when you look at this, there's so many opportunities to have the roots grow deeper. Um, you know, is everybody being respected? You come to places where maybe somebody has a role that's um, less, may took less time to achieve. You could be somebody who's working on a service desk versus somebody who's an architect in the company. And those are very important jobs. Both of them matter. Both people should be respected for the contributions they make. You shouldn't have hierarchies of professionals. Certainly, you want to make sure everybody, both those architects and those people in the service desk, are both feeling a very, very deep sense of belonging. And, the level of self-esteem they're getting out of the environment, the amount of empowerment they have, are they being adequately challenged given the work they have? Have you helped them find meaning and purpose in the work? Is what they're doing really aligned to their skills and interest? Matters. Oh, there's Terry over on the side.
That is so crazy. I have no idea what just happened, but I totally got kicked out of the room.
Yeah, you were just gone, Terry. I mean,
Yeah,
boom.
I was there and then poof, I was gone.
It had to happen eventually. You knew somebody would lose a network connection somewhere along the way.
Yes.
And
That's a risky run doing a live show.
live is live, and that's part of the fun of it, right?
Yes.
Question. It is part of the fun. And actually, we're going to be moving on to the importance of fun in terms of the sense of belonging in the next episode.
Yeah, see, it
So
was all planned for us to have a little
that's
fun in
right.
the episode.
You
And this
nailed your timing. Your timing's impeccable. I have to say it, Tara. That was
that
great.
is too funny.
Gee, I hope one day we don't both drop connection at the same time and there's nobody here. Could you
I
imagine?
know. Then Marcelo will have to come from the background.
Marcelo will have to come in from the background. Our producer will have to jump in and explain the fact that they'll be back momentarily. There's been a
Yeah.
telecommunications hiccup. That would be, hey, it's bound to happen. We've been at this a long time, so that's the first time that happened. I know I've
Yes.
had one or two shaky moments, where I could see like a delay.
That is too funny.
Yeah,
But, having that sense of belonging is so important. It really is. We cannot stress it enough. People need to feel connected. They need to feel like they are part, like Frank said, of the fabric of the organization. Because remember, people are not leaving organizations, they're leaving the people in the organization. So they're leaving those managers that they feel like are not there for them, that are not, they're not connected to the people that they work with anymore. Things have changed in a way that they don't agree. So that's really what's causing people to leave. So make sure that you have an organization where people feel like they belong, that you're giving them challenging work, that you're celebrating their wins, and you're really paying attention to what they need as an individual and not just, this is the way that we do things around here and we've always done them this way and that's just the way it will be. That's really going to leave you in the dust when it comes to having places where people really feel like they belong.
Yeah. And, we cover a lot of different human needs when we go through these episodes. And, you should take note of them and just become consciously aware that these are different human needs that you could take a part in making sure are met on the part of that individual.
Yes,
Because it matters. Belonging at the end of the day is everything. We know caring is the gateway to belonging. People don't belong, they're not staying. It's just that.
that's it. It is just that simple. Marcelo, will you bring up the key takeaways? So we've shared a lot in this series, and we have still a little bit more to share, but make sure that people feel like they belong in that organization and that they don't have to change who they are. I love this quote from Brene Brown.
Mhm.
True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are, it requires you to be who you are. So, being able to be authentically yourself in an organization, doing things the way that you would do them is so critically important because people are beautiful just the way they are. We don't want to have a whole lot of organizations with a whole bunch of people that are exactly the same. You want to have that diversity. You want to have diversity of thought and then diversity of ideas. You get so many different ideas when you begin to bring in people from different backgrounds and make them all feel like they belong. So, being able to solicit that input from your team, get everybody's input. Don't not just the few people, not just the people that think exactly like you, but make sure you're reaching out to those people that don't necessarily think the same way you do because oftentimes you learn a whole lot and you see things from a different perspective when you get somebody around you that thinks a little bit differently than you do.
So
So,
true. Being
yeah,
open-minded and just listening and
yes,
learn.
you learn so much by doing that and being inclusive, including people that you normally would not reach out to. Include people. You'll learn so much more. Your organization will be all the better for it. And then once you get those people in there, trust that they're going to do the right thing. Empower them, give them the ability to make their own decisions, and then trust them. Don't micromanage them. Don't follow up and check behind them. Let them have the freedom and the liberty to do the things that need to be done in the way that they think they need to be done. And if there are issues that you need to address, of course you're going to address those issues, but don't expect everyone to be a clone of the next person. You really do want to give people that liberty to be who they are. And then rewards. We talked about this,
Yeah.
but you really do want to reward and celebrate those achievements because it's so important. Taking responsibility, that's another area where you really just want to make sure that everybody knows their assignments, they know what they're responsible for, and each person can really take responsibility for the things that they need to get done. So, your move is to have an employee recognition day to celebrate some of those recent achievements. There are lots of things, big and small, as we said before. You don't have to wait for a big major release or the end of a project. You can actually celebrate along the way. So, take some time and really celebrate some of the good things that have already happened.
Yeah. And don't forget to smack the bell and follow us. We're here every Wednesday at 3 o'clock live. Of course, you can watch these series in totality at your leisure. Please do follow us on People Productive on LinkedIn. You'll automatically be notified about every show. We appreciate you coming here live and joining us. And we look forward to having you, join us each and every week so that you can stay on top of all these different human factors.
Yes.
So take care.
Bye for now.